to them in the pantry and they would say something like, "Oh, I saw what you got up to. You went to an interesting event." And suddenly I became famous in the office, and all not because I was talking individually to everybody, but because they had seen my post and they knew what I was up to. So that was when I realized the power of showing up. And why is this connected to leadership? That's because 20 years ago, leadership looked like this. You managed people, you made decisions behind closed doors, you spoke at the team meetings, and that was enough. But today, it is completely different because we're not just looking for leaders who can manage people, we're looking for leaders who can manage and influence thoughts. That's why we use the term thought leaders, right? Because they are not just putting out their thoughts, they are influencing your thoughts. Like most of you, your thoughts have probably been shifted or influenced by things you have read online or on the platform. So I would say that if you're not visible, you are not leading because where thoughts are getting managed today are not in boardrooms, they're not just in your team meetings, but it is online. And for most of us professionals, that's on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is where your peers are forming opinions about you, where people are looking at what you post, and that's where people decide who to approach for opportunities. So I would say that if you're lurking on LinkedIn, you're not being strategic as a leader because you're giving up the one place where leadership actually happens now. And I don't foresee that changing in the near future. People are still going to be looking you up on LinkedIn as a leader. Don't know if any one of you have seen this. This is the 99-1 rule. And what this rule is it's a social participation rule by Jacob Nelson. Um, so
Sorry,
according to
Sylvie.
Jacob,
The screen is not visible. It's
oh,
just,
okay,
oh yeah, now it's visible. Yes, yes,
visible. Can you
yes.
see the pyramid? Can everyone
Yeah.
see the pyramid?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that also.
Okay, wonderful. So this is the 99-1 rule, where in most social media and most communities online, you see people participating in this exact number. So 90% are actually lurkers. That means they're just using their phone to like scroll on the platform and just consume content, which don't tell anyone is what I do on TikTok and Instagram. I'm not active on those platforms. I am a lurker there. I 100% admit, and I don't think I will change that for now. That's where I relax. But on LinkedIn, is it the same thing applies? 90% of people are lurking on LinkedIn. And in this 90% are also a huge group of leaders that are lurking. 9% of people on the platform are engaging. So engaging would mean that they're commenting, liking, sharing. That counts as engaging. And a crazy, crazy number, only 1% out of the over 1 billion people on LinkedIn are leading. And when I say leading, that means that they are actively creating content. They're creating the content that all of us are scrolling or consuming. So I'm curious which one you are. You can put it in the chat. Where are you right now? Are you in the 1% or the 9% or the 90%? And it's okay if you're still in the 90% because you can always make it a goal to go up to the next level, right? If you're lurking, at least start commenting or start liking. If you are only commenting and liking and not creating content yet, put a piece out there, and that's the 1%. So I get that it's not easy, which is why I would love to share my simple framework on how I got seen, trusted, and chosen on LinkedIn. I would say that many people that I speak to, if not all of the leaders I speak to, they want to be chosen, right? Chosen for that promotion, chosen to take over the CEO, chosen by a top talent who would willingly join their team so that they're working with the best people. But before you get chosen, people first have to trust you. And before they trust you, they first have to see you. I would say that most leaders probably those of you who are watching or listening to this, you have no issues being credible. You have no issues being chosen. You've probably gotten a few opportunities in your life, and when you do show up, when you do the work, you know what you're talking about. You are credible. But the biggest challenge, unfortunately, is the first bit, which is the visibility piece, getting seen. There is an innate fear in people of being seen because you are like standing out. There's a higher chance that you might be judged or you might mess up. And that's why people are afraid of being seen. However, there isn't escaping that because on LinkedIn, if you want to get to the chosen stage, you do have to be seen. That's how the platform works. When you're visible, when you're active, when you're putting out good posts, engaging, creating conversations, that is how opportunities will come to you. And that is also how I got my LinkedIn Top Voice badge, which, many people ask me, how did you get the LinkedIn Top Voice badge? I would say I used this framework where first I started by showing up more on the platform, and then slowly the consistency of me showing up there and talking about the things that I was an expert in grew my credibility. And then before I knew it, my inbox was flooded with speaking invites, job opportunities, new clients, and even media features. So I've actually been featured on a lot of the local media in Singapore, all because I started to be seen. So I would love to leave you with this encouragement that whichever state you are in, don't be afraid of being seen, because that is part and parcel of being a leader. So stop waiting, no more lurking, and start leading. And I will see you as you lead on the platform. So let's connect on LinkedIn, and feel free to join my newsletter using this link here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my thoughts.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. After this keynote address, I would like to invite Suja to share your 10-minute worth of leadership lessons today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Cindy, that was outstanding. Of course, 10 minutes, but I think quite meaningful information there. Of course, I had a question. Can we fall into all the three categories? Because at some time we fall into the 90%. Of course, I think as leaders, we have to be in the first 1% category. So thank you for that valuable information. Now, those who are joining, I don't know, morning, afternoon, evening. First of all, Jason, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this event today. It's truly, it's kind of a privilege to be part of this leadership summit and to be able to present my ideas among so many leaders who are actually shaping the future, voice of LinkedIn or top voices. So I definitely feel privileged. Just a quick introduction of who I am. My name is Suja. I'm the founder of Sigma Intelligence and Talent Hub. We are known as the transformational catalyst for people development and organizational growth. Our work predominantly focuses on creating customized learning paths, employee engagement, leadership development, talk about mentoring and coaching, and of course, supporting HR leaders in creating a robust learning culture. So when I was approached to decide on the topic for my talk today, I intentionally thought of speaking on mastering talent development for business growth. Not only because the topic is closely associated with what I do, but also because in today's fast-paced and competitive landscape, building a strong foundation in talent development is a game changer for any organization. So if I want to take your few seconds to think about the current trend, especially over the past few years across, I'll talk about the GCC and Asia, where we are currently at a turning point. UAE, me being representing UAE, currently I'm, talking from Dubai. So UAE is leading global innovation in AI regulation currently. Talk about Saudi Arabia's vision 2030s, looking like national transformation. And I come from India. So in India, startups are born, like almost every minute, driven by young founders. You get to hear that in news, social media, everywhere, who are actually trying to blend their creativity with the courage to just go ahead and do it. And all this apparently is creating demand for new skills and capabilities that really didn't existed 5 years ago. You would see a new title coming up. Me coming from an HR background, that we have reworked on the titles. We are coming up with more creative and innovative structure to the job description because we know there's a lot we can do more. And companies are currently juggling the challenge of retaining experienced talent while simultaneously building new capabilities. I think we spoke about in the few weeks back where we spoke about AI, we spoke about data analytics, and also speaking about cloud technologies and all, which are really booming as the core skills currently in the market, which apparently pushes us as leaders to really understand the crucial role of talent development in cultivating a resilient workforce ready to really adapt and innovate amidst these market changes. So when we think about talent development, for long, so I come with a 20 plus experience in HR, handling talent development and learning development. For long, talent development was all about training, but what I have observed is organization that has treated talent development as nice to have, something HR does when there's budget left over. They have started to lose their best people because we are really not investing on the right talent. Also, the shift that we have seen is companies that have made it strategic and embedded that into their culture and business objectives specifically and their goals. They are not only retaining the talent, but I believe they're actually attracting a lot of external talents to within the organization. So here, what I'm really talking about is to kind of create ecosystems that bring out brilliance, at every level of it. This means that we need to start moving from traditional training models to really living culture, creating a learning culture within the organization where you're really curiosity replaces the tick in the box, the compliance, growth replaces the fear of change. Now, this really brings us to think about intentional talent development strategies. Of course, most of you would have worked in the corporate sector, or you are closely associated with that. For me personally, when I work with organization, I really start with focusing on clarity of purpose and having a visible growth plan. And that was the main reason why I even started with Sigma Intelligence. I know it sounds very obvious that you need to have a growth plan and all, but honestly, you'd be very surprised when you reach out to people, especially the leaders, and speak to them about creating growth plan and all. Some organizations still do not get it. I did in the recent past work with a banking group in the GCC recently, and they were actually puzzled by why our people are leaving. We're doing the sessions, we're doing trainings, but there's a high attrition in the mid management. And when we really went and investigated, dug deep, we found that people didn't know what their career trajectory looked like beyond their current role. They were actually stuck in their own JDs. And it is a shame that knowing how fast the current state is, if we are really going to put people in their own boxes, if you do not show them what growth looks like in the organization, they're definitely going to leave. You would leave. If you put yourself, you don't have clarity, you feel stuck, you definitely would move out. And I'm sure if you are a talent, you would leave an organization if there's no growth pattern shown. So what we really had to do, when I was working with this particular client, is that we really had to map out clear career path with giving real flexible opportunities to move horizontally or take stretch assignments or even look into new functions, you're kind of getting out of their comfort zone. And trust me, we did see good results. The engagement scores increased, the attrition level dropped, etc. So I personally think that the truth is people need to see a future within your organization to excite them. right? I mean, we all as human beings live with the phrase, what's in it for me, with him, right? If you come from a sales background, you know what with him is all about. Something else that I personally believe, another strategy that I really want to highlight in any platform is to be able to create an ecosystem for continuous learning and to have a leadership transformation. So we need to understand when people grow, the business grows. When we teach people to think bigger, out of the box, they push the boundaries and come up with innovative solutions. Now, talking about leadership transformation, we have apparently witnessed, I think even Cindy was mentioning that we have actually seen a leadership transformation, from a shift of a leadership model where we were only managing performance, we were the managers, to now focusing on how can we create leaders who are there to amplify potential. Right. So now our potential, our current mission is not just to make decision. Yeah. But to come up with a thought process of what could my people achieve if they are given the right environment to bloom. So as leaders, are you really doing that? Are you really taking care of your talent? Now I know that, what some of you might be thinking is that, great, this is all history. But what about the budget constraint? What about the pace of business? Who has the time to really get into, doing all these things? We are stuck with our 9 to 5s or whatever. We have our own agenda, right? Now, these are really the real challenges, especially in an emerging market where, where resources are tighter. We get to hear the concern of we don't have the resources. Something that I've learned is you don't need unlimited budget to create an impact, right? In simple terms, I would just have 3 quick ones. The first is to leverage what you already have. Your internal expertise is often underutilized. So create mentoring and peer learning structures that cost little but really deliver an impact. Second, be selective. You cannot develop everyone. Let's be realistic. Yeah, you cannot really develop everyone and everything. Identify your crucial roles, the positions that directly impact business outcomes, and invest there first. And finally, measure what matters. I've seen people track, as in learning and development, we used to track what is the total number of training hours people have attended. I think that doesn't make any sense anymore. But it's more about really seeing and measuring what actual behavioral change and impact has been created. So, in the interest of the time, let me bring back this to where we started. The war for talent is real. It's happening right now in your organization if you're working, whether you are actively managing it or not. Every day, we know our competitors are trying to recruit your best people. And that only keeps, them, besides compensation, is the belief that if I, as an employee, I know that I can grow. And if I've been invested in, I'm sure as a talent, I am going to stay. So with that, I would just, I think I'm on time. I would have spoken a lot because it's a very passionate topic altogether. But thank you so much for listening patiently. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Suja. Over to you, Sean.
There we go. Thank you, Jason, and good afternoon, good evening, good morning everyone. I'm so grateful to be here and to be part of this presentation today. Jason, thank you to you and to the NGL Talks community for this wonderful opportunity, and I'm excited to be here. When Jason extended the invitation, I was quite thrilled because it gives me an excuse to talk about something that I'm passionate about, which is leadership and character. So any opportunity to speak on leadership and character is an opportunity that I grab with both hands. And so wonderful to connect with all of the leaders that are here today and to learn from you. And I'm super excited for that. So basically what I want to do is, before I get into my presentation, Sean Naidu, founder and CEO of the All Things Are Possible Group. We're a skills development training company based in South Africa. But unlike the generic skills development and training companies, our focus is on leadership and character development. We speak on leadership and character development, and I serve as a leadership and character development speaker, trainer, and soon to be author of my upcoming book entitled The Character Foundation of Leadership. It's not what you build, It's on what you build. And that is the title for my presentation today. So within the next few minutes that I have, I'm speaking on the character foundation of leadership. It is not what you build. It's on what you build. So for the next few moments, I am going to be building a case for character. Building a case for character. Edmund Burke made a powerful statement some years ago, and he said, all that it takes for evil to pervade is for good men, good women to do absolutely nothing. And so I, Sean Naidu, have decided with the ATAP group that I will not do nothing. So within the leadership space, within company cultures, within organizations, governments, private, public sector, unfortunately, we have too much of evil prevailing within leadership, and part of my mission is to do my part in ensuring that evil does not prevail. People and societies do not need more leaders. Let me repeat that. People and societies do not need more leaders. What they need are more leaders of character. Being a leader and being a leader of character is two completely different things. It's not the same thing. So have a listen to this. Too many leaders have the skill sets for the positions of power, but not the character for the power of the positions. Before we can have leadership with character, we need leaders with character. You cannot, and when I say you, I'm just speaking generally and not specifically speaking to you, but obviously it applies to all of us. We, you, I, we cannot succeed in leadership while failing in our character. Not every leader in a leadership position provides leadership while in the position. Now, what I've observed, being a leadership and character speaker, is something very interesting. Society has become obsessed with the public accolades of reaching the heights of leadership and of entrepreneurship and of business, higher positions, higher power, higher influence, while being reckless and careless, negligent and dismissive, and even inconsistent with the depths of personal character that holds the heights of leadership up. So what we want as society is, we want growing, but we don't want grounding. We want public success with no private sacrifice. We want strong leaders without building the strong foundation that sustains leaders. And so we want leaders who achieve the heights of leadership, but they are shallow foundations. On what are you and I, as individuals, as companies, I often ask the questions. On what are we trying to build our leadership? On what are we trying to build our culture? On what are we trying to build company vision? So while there might be many building blocks to building leadership, culture, and vision, there is only one foundation on which all of these building blocks stand. Why? Because character is the foundation of leadership. So no matter how great the quality of the building blocks, and I refer to the building blocks as skills development, as knowledge, as your skills, as your talents, your education, your leadership experience, your leadership qualifications, and being so strategic, all of these buzzwords that we associate to leadership, those are building blocks. And every building needs building blocks. And even the building blocks needs a strong foundation to sustain and support it. Great quality building blocks built on compromised foundation compromises the building. I'm going to repeat that. Great quality building blocks built on a compromised foundation compromises the building and everything in it. So while builders know, wise builders know that the structural integrity of any building, and when I say building, I'm talking about physical buildings, yes, but I'm referring also to leadership and company culture, a company's vision. So wise builders know that the structural integrity of any building depends not just on the strength of what you build, not just on the strength of what you are building, but on what you are building. And that is the foundational integrity. And at this point, let me just remind you of what this presentation is about. The title is The Character Foundation of Leadership. It is not what you and I build. It is on what you and I build. And this is the reason why leaders are failing in leadership, especially morally and ethically. It is because when leaders fail, they fail first in their character. So when the foundation is not solid and the foundation is weak, sooner or later, whatever leadership has built, skills, expertise, talents, and gifts, and knowledge and information, all of that comes crumbling down. Why? Because the foundation of character is not in place to sustain leadership. So companies and those responsible for staff and leadership and youth development Unfortunately, they often glamorize the building blocks of leadership. So we glamorize skills development, we glamorize skills, experience, and talents, and qualifications, and knowledge, but we neglect the foundation on which everything rests, and that is character. And listen to this statement, because I think, and I'm very unapologetic when I mention these kinds of nuggets which I referred into. If what you and I are building is more important on what you and I are building, then what we are building is compromise. Allow me to repeat it. If what we are building in leadership is more important than on what we are building, then what we are building is compromise. The foundation of leadership is character, and leadership is too critical for the advancements of societies and people and companies and countries for us to ignore the character of our leaders. So why does the foundation of character matter to you and I as leaders? Why does it matter to our companies and our companies' leaders and our government leaders? Very simple, with the foundation of any building. The foundation determines the weight that can be carried by leadership. The foundation absorbs the stresses, the pressures, the burdens, the strains of leadership. It ensures long-term leadership stability, safety, durability, and protection. And it also ensures that the foundation is unshakable. The character foundation of leadership is the unshakable bedrock upon which dependable leadership is built. The foundation of any building is too critical to be ignored. So even when building leaders, and unfortunately we are too casual within skills development, leadership development, we are too casual with what is critical. If I were to pose this question to you, put a group of people in a room that lack character. In another group, put a group of people with strength of character. My question to you would be, in which group do you want to work? Answer would be obvious. Why? Because we understand the power of character and its impact and effect on each of us personally. Everyone talks too much about leadership, but too little about the personal character of the leaders providing leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, we are too silent on the one thing on which everything in leadership revolves. And that is why I have made a decision. It is my passion. It is the flagship of our flagship program of the All Things Are Possible group. It is what I speak on, and that is leadership and character development. Leadership and character. And our flagship program is called Leaders of Character. We want to build a generation of leaders of character, not just leaders, but leaders of character. And we need to be intentional about it. If the character of a leader is not credible, the leadership of the leader is not credible. And so I want to thank you, Jason, and to the NGL Talks community, and for this wonderful summit, for giving me the opportunity to just take a few moments and to build a case for character. And just in closing, let me just say this. If you and I are in leadership, and this goes to everybody in the future that is going to be watching this entire summit, but specifically as I close my presentation, if you and I are in leadership, then character needs to be in us. We do not need more leaders. We need more leaders of character. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and much appreciated. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sean. Over to you, Dipan. Yes.
Hi, hello everyone. This is Dipan Adhikari. Well, thank you, Jason, for providing me an opportunity to speak in this platform, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I am Dipan Adhikari. I'm basically the head of strategic projects and logistics solutions in United Warehouse Company based in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Actually, I am from logistics background, so what I want to say here is I want to share about what we do and how, what you can say. I want to tell about my journey in Saudi, in UWC, how we work, what we do, and basically my today's agenda of topic is, you can say, the current trends in logistics and warehousing in Saudi Arabia. So when we started in 2007 as a general 2PL company in Saudi. That time, the logistics requirement was only just to have a warehouse for storage, 2PL, and people used to manage everything. But now, as you know, in Saudi, there are lots of changes, lots of developments are happening, lots of international companies are coming. So the mindset of the people changes, the mindset of the customer changes. Nowadays, they don't only want storage. What I understand from the current trend, from the current expectation of our customer, they are not looking for storage or they are not looking for transportation. They are looking for an end-to-end solution. What I want to say, they want value addition services along with the storage. So what I understand from current trend or current mindset of the customer is, before, whatever we used to build, we used to provide, the customer was a decision taker. But nowadays, the customer expectation changes. The customer is expecting something which helps to improve their business. Before, logistics was a cost center, but nowadays customer is expecting their logistics partner to help them to grow their business, expand them in the new market. So I can tell you, during my last 1 year, what we are doing, or when I joined, we were like providing normal 2PL services and 3PL services. But I understand that the customer is not only looking for services, they are looking for someone who can guide them, who can consult them, who can help them to grow their business into the market. So based on that, we changed our strategy. We introduced some value addition services in our company. Right now, we are not only providing them storage, we are suggesting them, we are you can say, we are going through their entire year forecast. We are suggesting them about the storage, the transportation also. We are helping them in terms of optimizing their operations. We before we were having only our own system. Now we develop external system, our in-house internal system, through which they can track and monitor their inventory in real time. What we observe is, customers, they have certain expectations from you, and uh, if you provide them a service, and if they are happy, they will come to you. And if you provide them good service, because nowadays customer, they are the one who is deciding the pricing. Before, we used to, whatever we used to charge them, they used to accept. Nowadays, the customer is having a mindset of providing a certain price for certain service. So it's very difficult. You have to manage in the same price, you have to manage your profit, and you have to make your work efficient, more lean, to achieve the same pricing, to satisfy the customer without compromising your service level. So right now we are having different types of facilities also. Before, we used to have only one type or two types of facility, like either dry or cold storage. Now we have dry, we have cold, we have temperature control, frozen, chilled, even we have open yard, to help our customers to cater their multiple requirements. Because before, the customer used to go to different service providers to get different services. Right now, to make our customers' life more easy, to make their, you can say, logistics more easy and simple, we provide end-to-end solution under the one roof. Right from custom clearance, freight forwarding, storage, and transportation, we provide everything. So even to make new customers easily enter into the market, mainly the bigger customers, we also started providing them build to suit solution, because not every customers are having similar requirement. Your facility is built for maybe a specific kind of requirements, but nowadays different customers are having different requirements. So what we do, we understand their requirements, and based on that, we provide them a solution. If they are okay with the existing solution, we provide them that, or else we try to consult them, help them, and based on their requirement, we build and provide them the solution. So that's it. I just shared my experience, and thank you for providing me an opportunity to speak here. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dipan. Over to you, Matthew.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a quick one. Okay, well, thank you, Jason, for giving me the floor now. So yeah, in order to introduce myself, my name is Matthew. I'm born in Holland. My dad, actually, he was South African, so I know quite a bit about alles zal rechtkom. So yeah, apart from that, I lived... After that, I lived for 10 years in Czech Republic, and at the moment I'm almost 4 years in Switzerland. As for my career background, I've been working for over 10 years now on the area of software testing. And yeah, now I made it up to the level of team lead. And yeah, so now I'm here to talk a little bit about what I learned about leadership, basically. It started actually last week when I was discussing a little bit with Jason about like, okay, what am I going to talk about? I don't really know. Maybe I should be talking about my career or something like that, how it developed. And then Jason was like, well, what did you learn about leadership actually? And yeah, that's actually quite an interesting question because it also made me dig a little bit into like what I've learned throughout my career. So then, yeah, what is leadership actually? So then, yeah, as Cindy already mentioned before, like, yeah, is it maybe something that some CEO discusses has like a secret meeting in his boardroom or anything like that, or maybe something like that, or else what we know leadership quite a lot about is like, okay, maybe there's some kind of a CEO, he has a very successful company, and all of his employees, they're like happy to what do you call it? They're happy to work at that company, for example. That could also be like an indicator of like good leadership. But yeah, usually this is like quite a bit of a top-down view. But yeah, from my end, I was more like working from bottom up actually. So then this is how I actually got to learn more about leadership. So then, as an example, when I was studying back then, and when I was still working at the canteen, I was so serving some food to people. And then, yeah, one time there was a manager. He told me like, yeah, like if someone makes a mistake a few times, it's not very constructive to tell him that he's an idiot. You try to have a conversation with him. You say something like, okay, if you have a problem, then we have a problem. You know, what can we do to help each other out on this? Because we're into it, we're in this together. So that was one example of what I learned about leadership. Another example was also that there was someone, she was complaining about, some companies, they're very strict. Like if a colleague, if she says something, then I'm not allowed to say that she's wrong. And then, yeah, of course, that's, of course you want to carry out one message to everyone. So that's, of course, it's that you don't have too much quarreling going on. So that was also an example. And another example is also when I was in the Toastmasters group. Maybe you've heard about it. That yeah, exactly. So then over there, you learn quite a lot about the presentation skills, but also quite a lot about leadership. And one of the leadership things that they also teach us, like, okay, you can tell someone what someone is doing well. And if someone can improve something, you can mention it like this, indeed. So then like this, yeah, you have like a safe and constructive environment where you can discuss a few things, for example. But then, yeah, so these were quite a lot of things that I got to hear about leadership. So then this made me wonder, like, okay, leadership, is this just about keep saying nice things and just, and if something's bad, just keep your mouth shut? But then, yeah, I was wondering indeed, like, okay, what does this have to do with the successful leaders, for example, that have like these successful companies? So I asked this question to one of the AI chatbots, and then, yeah, they said like, well, yes, it does make total sense, because if you don't say anything nasty, you still have an opportunity to create like a constructive environment that's not too toxic and where people are bickering with each other all the time. So then at least you have an environment where people still can talk with each other, where we can still like constructively discuss things. So that's one of the advantages of the leadership, of course. And yeah, there was also Suja. She was of course like asking the question like, okay, but what is in it for me? Like, does it give any concrete results, or does it really like give the company more money or something like that? Well, I have one last example. That one is about one of the last things that my leadership was being tested quite a bit. It was about one of the colleagues. She had one opinion. It was quite well in my favor, so I was quite happy. But then the next day, we had a meeting together with management, and then she totally turned it around, and it went into my disadvantage. So yeah, then of course I could have said like, okay, but yesterday you said something else. But of course, I also knew that management was there, so I didn't want her to lose face. So I just decided to say nothing. I just let it go. I just agreed. I said like, okay, I'm very flexible. And yeah, so then, yeah, then nothing happened, of course. But then later on, yeah, her opinion, it did eventually turn into to my advantage. So that's at least was a good thing. But then later on, I had the impression that at least I could be trusted. That at least I don't throw people under the bus, for example, these things. So as mentioned, it's not really guaranteed, but yeah, at least I think that it at least has some benefits that maybe will work out somewhere in the future. So yeah, these were quite a lot of my lessons that I learned about leadership. So as mentioned, the results they're not always guaranteed, but at least I think that it will make the working day a bit more pleasant, at least. Oh,
Thank
that was
you.
it basically. So yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Saad.
All right. Hi again, everybody. Let me share my screen first. And since I am on a timeline for 10 minutes, I will be opening my watch because this is the first time I have been asked to remain within the time. So just to not miss, can you see my screen?
Yes, visible.
Yes.
Visible.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So let me understand, you are looking the screen as with only slides or with my notes also, just to be sure you do not see my notes.
No, without the notes.
That's great. So I can be relaxed. So my name is Mohammed Saad. Today I'm speaking for the topic leadership in supply chain automation. So automation, and we have heard AIs and technology going on within the logistics from Mr. Diaban. It was a great update from logistics side. And I will be continuing from the same subject because little bit about myself to give you introduction. I am 23 years old in supply chain only. Oh, sorry. 23 years old in supply chain, still learning. And I have been very, very lucky to be involved and leading some key projects for Oracle, for SAP, JD Edwards, and WMS in SAP also. And that helped me to understand the industry and the gaps also, which led me towards entrepreneurship. And we have developed our WMS software for our region, which is suitable for GCC and other countries, having very, very good advantages and features into this thing. So basically, the what we are looking into the automation as leadership is, even in my experience, even the best supply chain managers I have seen, and we all have human limitations, right? And complexity has increased, but management methods often haven't. And we have old processes which are written maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, and still going on. The things have changed, technology have evolved, but we are not changing our written processes, and we keep handing over to the new people joining in our industry to follow them. And this is where the gap comes in between the technology and the skill set of the human being. And that is what we need to address. And currently, how the AI is evolving, now the automation of supply chain is not a luxury now. It's not an option. It is become a mandatory function for every company to go automated and use the business intelligence and the AI functions to get the better results in their decision making as well. Specifically, since I have been living in Saudi Arabia and I belong to India, basically, I have done my graduation and MBA in supply chain from India, and I have been living most of the time in Saudi Arabia. So my core experience is in the GCC region, and I have seen many gaps in logistics, which has been coming over and over into the process of functions. But now we are evolving, we are changing, we have accepted that supply chain is also a very core part of any business to get success. So now the automation is actually the similar to moving from manual bookkeeping to digital accounting. This we have understood. Once we adopt this thing, you do not go back. The same applies to the supply chain as well. I have been experiencing that most of the companies before I joined, I'm talking about 10 years back, most of the companies, they were taking the module of finance and HR and CRM and SRM mostly. So the customer service for the logistics, it was not concerned for the companies. The logistics and shipping time, it was not the very high concern for the companies. So the supply chain as a complete module was being ignored in automation for a long time, but now it has been changing. And so automation, without the supply chain automation, finance numbers are often delayed or distorted. Clean data from automated and system allows leadership to speak a common language, and which gives the financial impact to overall companies. So this is more crucial. Now we have understood this, and any general manager in supply chain directors and managers, they are to make decisions based on the financial numbers more than their gut feelings or their experience now. So this has become a mandatory part to get the supply chain automation system in place. So the leadership often prioritizes, as I told you, the sales, CRM, and finance modules were the high priority before, but supply chain modules are now the engines that feed those systems with reliable data. So supply chain has the most valuable and the most portion of data in company, because we are receiving the orders, recording this. We are making the purchase orders, we are recording that. We are having the shipping logistics documents, we are recording that. We are delivering to the customers, we are recording that. So supply chain is the only function within the company who makes the more of the records, sorry, or the data in any business operations. So it has become a very crucial now for the leadership to understand the importance of supply chain functions and implement the good softwares. Investment of a great portion of investment should be considered in automation of the entire supply chain portion, where I would say that supplier relationship management, APS, which is advanced planning systems, purchasing and procurement, logistics and transportation, and especially the warehouse management system. Speaking specifically for the country where I am in Saudi Arabia, warehouse has been the least considered part in any of the company's welfare or company's development. So we were coming as a last person to be looked after. But now I'm seeing the changes are being done, as Mr. Diapan has also referred, that now the customers are more data oriented. They want more reports, more collaboration between the supply chains and the clients and the customers. So this new scenario has given us the opportunity to implement the warehouse management system in all of the companies so that the crucial part of the deliveries are being managed professionally. And this is the supply chain. Basically, why, if we talk about why it was being ignored, basically we can say that without the leadership attention, because most of the leadership was focusing on sales and business development and marketing. And I have seen myself in my experiences that we had great development marketing processes and marketing in about the products, but when we go for the distribution, most of the companies have been failing. And in the delivery reliability, the on time in full, the percentages were very poor. It was like more than less than 50% of delivery reliability. So since the automation has come up, they have been implementing the softwares. The visibility of data has given the actual versus what they have been perceiving before, that everything is okay. So data told the leaders, no, everything is not okay. This is the reality. We are not serving the customers in terms of logistics. We are not serving our customers more than even 50%. So that's lead to the change in the direction of thinking for automation of supply chain. And this has been still working and evolving, which is I see a great opportunity for the supply chainers and the investors, entrepreneurs who are investing in logistics heavily. Now, since AI is everywhere, AI powered intelligence is not the futuristic, it's now has become the survival thing. Yani. And business that ignores supply chain automation risk they risk sorry they risk falling behind or exist or the removing themselves from the existing of the market entirely. So without the leadership involvement, automation projects fail silently. Why? The poor data, they do not clean the data, there is no ownership from the leadership, and they do not cascade the leadership. And the systems used like advanced Excel, which was not fed well with the data, and the same Excel file has been uploaded into the new system, which is one of the reasons for making the softwares fail. But why the leadership, if we leaderships are ignoring, we have to make some changes. And this is what I propose, what the leadership should do before they decide to implement the new softwares. They have to do the deep research in the market. They have to make sure that the software they are talking about or thinking about to implement, it fits within the company, not based, they should not decide based on somebody else's feedback, because business are different. Every business is different from their another company. So we have to understand what the software is giving to us. And of course, we have to define the clear outcomes in terms of inventory, service levels, faster delivery, and financial impacts also. So clear project ownership must be defined. Roles and responsibilities must be clearly defined. Regular leadership reviews must to have to get the updates, and fast decision making on the bottlenecks. This is another crucial problem which I have faced during the implementations or upgrades of the software, that if we are stuck in some process, the decision making was too long. So it delayed our implementation of this. So this is it. I'm closing my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And if there is any question, I'm here to answer. I appreciate your listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Saad. Sean, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much again, Jason, for this opportunity, and greetings to everyone on the platform. First of all, what I would like to talk about, and I think is something that is asked every day, especially in countries like South Africa. Let me also introduce myself. I'm born and raised in South Africa with about 12 years of experience in the Middle East, where I gained experience in the HR field globally. And that has brought me back to SA, where I have started up businesses for UK companies as well as US companies within South Africa. So, a question that has been asked lately, and also more recently, within countries like South Africa with a high unemployment rate is, what is going to happen to our jobs? Will we lose our jobs, etc.? And that has brought me to the question of especially a function as HR, which is very crucial to the business, since we hold the interests of both the business and the employees. And that is, with regard to the current impact of AI. Can AI replace the HR function? We look at that, and basically, to me, there's two answers. There is a yes, and there is a no to that. But look at the name HR. I know when I was very young, our parents used to talk about the personnel department, which later grown into HR, Human Resources Department. And I think most recently, the name has again changed to the people team, the people department. So for me, it is a yes and a no. Because there is certain parts within HR that AI can replace, but not the function as a whole. Sorry, lost my screen. Yeah. So if I look at the breakdown, what AI can replace. AI is a very good transactional and repetitive data side for HR, especially if you look at your talent acquisition, your recruitment. AI is very good at CV screening, which we currently experience, especially with like myself with over 20 years of experience. There were a time when we had to screen CVs on a daily basis, and I'm sure you all have a fair idea of how that can end. And then also, if we look at payroll processing, etc., where AI can come in very handy. Also, with regard to compliances, performance, data analysts, the recruitment, specifically in terms of high value hiring, etc. But on the other side, if you look at what AI cannot replace, that is the human factor. Like I said, human resources, people, team, etc. So that is one thing that AI cannot replace, especially if we come to building trust among the employees. Because as you know, we spend more hours per day in the office than at our homes. And we would like that also in itself to be a very healthy experience for the whole of the team and the organization. So that is one of the parts where AI cannot replace HR. We also look at when it comes to improving the whole, how can I say, the whole culture within the organization and communication, etc., the coaching part, the mentoring part, like I think our first speaker also spoke about building leaderships, etc., when you want to engage in that part of the HR function. And then also, when doing your interviews, that connection between reading your candidate and so on. Those are steps which I definitely cannot replace. And then also, sorry, the strongest HR teams will use AI, to remove the admin work. I think everybody is very happy for that part of it, because definitely admin can take a huge part of your day. And then when I think of AI as a power tool and not a replacement for HR, so I would say, it can be something good, which we are currently all enjoying. And then also there is the no factor. Although I can confidently say that AI, has the power to reshape HR, but not erase it completely. So yeah, that is from my side. Thank you so much, everyone. I trust it was a bit of informative. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Rashawn. So we come to the last and final speaker. Sue, thanks for joining in. Please go ahead. So you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Really awesome to be here. Thank you, Jason, for having me here. And to the team, the NLG team, for organizing this amazing event to hear from so many experts in the field of HR, logistics, and leadership. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen 1 second. Okay, here we go. So Jason asked me what did I want to speak about today in terms of, to do with leadership. And I could talk loads about leadership. I could talk loads about HR, and I could have a very lengthy conversation with Rashawn and with Suja about HR. So I've got 30 years experience in the field of human resources, predominantly in the UK, where I worked with one of the UK's biggest retailer, working my way up from cashier to manager, trading, senior team manager, operations, and then into HR, and then into quite senior roles there, where I grew up with the business. And one of my key roles there was to design and, develop and implement a training program, a residential training development program for HR professionals. And that has been my passion, for the last kind of 20 plus years, is really developing the HR brand, helping HR people become more credible, become more respected. And I'm also the author of this book called Putting the Human Back into HR, because I really do believe in leading with, from a place of love and from a place of service, so that our employees could have the best employee experience. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and understanding, how can we let go of the control as leaders? Like, that is our default, right? We're leaders, so we need to control things. So 1 second, let me just move a couple of these boxes out of the way. Okay, so leadership for me is about clarity, it's about trust, and about being present. Okay, now here we go. So leaders today are totally navigating constant challenges, the constant pressure to perform, to deliver, to work on themselves, work on the teams, and really build and deliver the KPIs, deliver the results through a very uncertain world. The economy is very uncertain. There's so much going on in the world. People have that level of uncertainty, and it's making people very insecure. And of course, there's high expectations placed on people to deliver through the constant pressure and through the uncertainty that they're dealing with as well. So the default to control in leadership, the way that it looks is over managing people, constantly telling people what to do, constantly, giving people to-do lists, over explaining, giving everybody all the answers, and then over checking, like, who wants to operate as a human being with somebody constantly over your shoulder, checking on you, and where you don't have autonomy whatsoever. In this day and age, it just really doesn't work. But still, many leaders default to this way of leading. And the impact it has on employees is that they don't have a great employee experience. It reduces their ownership and their accountability. You know, they come from a place of like, why should I care anymore? And, you know, people, they say that, you know, people stay in organizations because of their manager. Now, if you're not a leader who's leading with love and with, you know, looking to serve people, then you are going to have this sense of lacking of accountability and ownership. You know, it reduces innovation, creativity from people. Like they just don't have the space to, you know, think openly and honestly and creatively. And then of course emotional disengagement, so people start looking for jobs, you know, start looking for weight, you know, going off sick. So it has so many impacts on the employees, and of course causing either too much workload and burnout as well. And the organizations pay for that. So as a leader, if you're leading with over control, over managing, over checking, overly, you know, over questioning, over monitoring, you know, the organization is going to pay for that, because there's going to be bottlenecks at the top where, you know, there's going to be delays in things getting completed, you know, in the workflow. People are going to be less responsive. Decision fatigue, people are scared to make decisions because the managers are doing all the work for them, and or that they're being criticized constantly and being judged for the decisions that they are making. So people then feel unsure of the decisions that they are making. And then of course quiet attrition, where people are just going to end up disengaging and leaving to go to your competitors. So, you know, it impacts 3 levels of different communities. It impacts you as a person if you're leading at this level, because it's going to be tiring for you. Your employees are not going to have the best experience, and then the organization are also, it's going to impact their bottom line, because good people are going to leave. So why does control feel safe? It feels safe for leaders because if they don't control, they have this fear of failure and they don't want to experience that emotion. You know, they feel like, you know, they worry about whether they're going to make mistakes and it's going to look bad on them. Their fear of judgment from their peers, from their, you know, from people, questioning their competency, their confidence, and then of course the fear of letting go. Like, you know, and I experienced that myself. Like, you know, it's hard to let go because you feel like, you know what, no, if I do it, it's going to get done in the right way and it will get done quicker. But actually, you know, we've got to learn to let go so that we can free ourselves up as leaders. So here it is, as leaders, as human beings, we all operate from a place of what we want to have in our lives, right? Like, you know, let me know if you resonate with this. Like, you know, you want to have like a good job, you want to get the promotion, you want to have the status, the acknowledgement, the bonuses, the pay rises, the car, the house. Like, we want to have that all, right? And we all operate from this place of like wanting to have all of these things. And when we operate from this place, what happens? What do? We start putting pressure and demand on ourselves and other people. We don't invest in ourselves or invest in others. We don't listen to people. We work long hours, we burn out, and we're constantly searching for more, you know, more information, more knowledge. And, you know, we could have like 10, 15 years experience, but we're still constantly feeling like we're not enough, right? Or because we feel like, no, I need to have this job, this promotion, this money, this car, this house. And all because then one day we can be happy, satisfied, peaceful, grateful, loving, and fulfilled. All right. So we operate from a place of have so that one day we could be happy and satisfied, peaceful, grateful, loving, and fulfilled. But imagine if we started from a place of being happy, satisfied, peaceful, grateful, loving, fulfilled. Just take a second. Imagine you're in this place now. You know, like you're feeling very fulfilled, you're feeling happy, satisfied, peaceful, grateful, and loving. What would you do from this place? You would probably focus on your health and your well-being a lot more. You would invest in yourself. You would listen to other people, support, be present, believe in yourself, believe in others, and, you know, work together as a team, like, you know, operate in unity, rather than feel like you have to do it all yourself, because then, you know, otherwise you won't get what you want. And what you'll find is that by operating from this place of being, you're going to be doing things differently. So the actual having of getting what it is that you want isn't going to feel like such a struggle. isn't going to feel like you're leaving people behind, isn't going to feel like you're getting left behind. So rather than operating from a place of having and working that way, let's operate from a place of being, so that then, we can take people with us on the journey. So going from control to clarity, trust, and presence, move from a place of giving answers. Don't tell people what to do. Ask questions. Give them a little bit of a sense of responsibility and accountability. Move from a place of speed to presence. Build relationships with people, understand them, get into their world, knowing what's important to them, and move from a place of control to creating conditions and an environment where people can thrive rather than just survive. So that's all I want to say. I've only got 10 minutes. I mean, we could talk about this subject for many, many hours. I just want to say thank you. And if we aren't connected on LinkedIn, please do pick up your phone and scan the QR code, and let's connect on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. With that, we come to the end of the session. If you have any questions to anyone here present, you can ask. We have still 5 minutes left in today's discussion. If you have any questions to any of the speakers, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the speakers. If not, we'll be winding up the session soon. Yes, Dipan?
No, thank you for this is my first time I'm attending you can say this kind of discussion, and it was really insightful, and we can have more sessions like this, and thank you for again giving me an opportunity to come here and join and participate, and that's it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you want, I can add 5 minutes. Sorry, I was not prepared while for this conversation today. For leadership, yes, as you know, I was in Dubai 13 years, 13 and a half years. Then I moved to KSA, Saudi Arabia. So here, the mindset, how we work in Dubai is, and how the mindset of people in KSA is different. It's not that here people believe more in, you can say, physical touch, connection, trust. That is more important in today's leadership role. You cannot they prefer you to directly go and communicate with them, understand them, and then if they get the trust, you don't need to go and again ask for any kind of work. You'll automatically get the business and other things. And also community, they prefer to have community. They prefer to meet and greet each other. And for me, if you ask, when I came, I found it's very difficult to communicate with other people, because in Dubai you'll find lots of apps, applications, gatherings, but here it's not like that. So I created my own community, and as you are also one of the member, and you can share that link to our other members also if they want, where I believe there are more than 850 logistics professionals all over KSA, even from UAE, Oman are also there, and other GCC countries. So this is what, and also yes, there is a gap in you can say what Mr. Saad told. They here people, they are not giving much priority, or they are not giving much you can say uh, importance to technology. Still, we are lacking if we compare with Dubai or India or USA, other countries, in terms of WMS, in terms of GDMS, in terms of system. Still, there is a gap, and uh, we also face the same issue. And in our company, we are trying to you can say fill the gap by introducing new system, by improving our existing CRM. Before it was manual, right now we are making it automated by capturing more and more customers feedback, and we are trying to interact more with the customers. That is one thing how we are trying to improve everything. Also, you can say in terms of uh, before we implement WMS, TMS, or any kind of system. Change management is very important. So that is another thing where I can see like there is a gap, and we have to work on the mindset of the people, where they should feel the importance of accepting this, you can say, new technologies which can help them to make their work more easy. So I think there are those who are providing like digital transformation services. Before that, I think there is a big gap, and there is an opportunity for business transformation services and learning transformation services. Because if you don't have proper roadmap, proper SOPs, proper documents about your vision, and the same vision should be, you can say, pass it, or the same vision should be communicated to your staff, to your employees, that this is what we are doing right now, and this is what we are vision, like vision 2030, like government is promoting. So we have to upgrade. And once we able to convince to successfully communicate the vision to our employees, and when their vision and our vision are on the same, you can say, it's same, then it's easy for us to adapt new technologies to transfer our, you can say, like from one place to another place where we want to reach. So this is what, and I'll not take much time, and thank you for everyone, and it was wonderful and nice to meet and hear everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll quickly wind up this session today. Thank you all the speakers for sharing your insightful thoughts. We'll catch up for the next one. Thank you so much.